Good evening, everybody. I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Monee Village Board of Trustees, March 12th, 2025. It is 6:34. If I could please invite Pastor Dave Short up for our invocation.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to read 1 Kings 17:21 this evening. And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, the prophet Elijah, and cried out to the Lord and said, Lord my God, let this child's life return to him. And the Lord heard Elijah's cry. So Father, I just as Elijah tried to bring back to life this boy that was without life and cried out for the child's life to be restored, I lift up the trustees tonight and every village administrator, every leader that's in this place and building. And wherever they are facing dryness, discouragement, struggles, I ask you to breathe life into them. I pray that you revive our faith, renew our strength, and fill us with your precious Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, I ask you to move powerfully in our lives tonight. Where there is doubt, bring assurance. Where there's weakness, bring strength. And I pray that we would walk in confidence, knowing that you are our guide, our refuge, and our source of strength. And so, Father, I'm asking you to cover this meeting, every decision made, wonderful counselor, provide guidance. And we ask all this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Here.
Trustee Henson.
Present.
Trustee Horn.
Here.
Trustee Rakes.
Present.
Trustee Wilson.
Present.
Trustee Udress.
Present.
Open to the public, agenda items only. May I have a motion to accept the consent agenda, please?
Before we make
Oh.
the motion, I'd actually like to make a motion to have the minutes from the board meeting removed for review.
Okay,
Second.
roll call, please.
Trustee Henson.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Udress.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Board. Clerk's report, anything? Oh, for the
rest of the consent.
for the rest of the, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, can I have a motion to accept the rest of the consent agenda minus the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And roll call.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Trustee Wilson.
Yes.
Trustee Udress.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Henson.
Yes.
Thank you. Clerk's report?
I have no report.
Thank you. Under my report, I'm very honored to have Seth Mendoza here for a presentation to the Village of Monee. So if I can please invite Mr. Lenaher and the Mendozas up.
Hello, I am Jim Lenaher. I am a resident of Monee, and I'm on the planning and zoning. But this has nothing to do with planning and zoning, believe me. I have over here a beautiful wooden flag that I will uncover, Seth will uncover. Seth is the young man in the middle here. He goes to Mount Carmel High School, and he is a wrestler, and we'll get to that soon enough. All 3 of these individuals, father, mother, and son, in some way are responsible for me getting this. I told Marilyn, my wife, who unfortunately can't make it here tonight, that maybe we should get one of those wooden flags and donate it to the village of Monee for the 150th. And she said, good idea. Well, this was back in November and December and January, all prime months for wrestling. And wrestling is involved in the beginning and the end of this, like two bookends. Now, my wrestling and his wrestling. So we had to wait till he was done with wrestling this year. And the reason was he wrestled in the state tournament, and I'll talk about that later. But today I want to talk about the how we got these parents involved in this. And I'm not good speaking extemporaneously, so I wrote what I want to say. It's entitled The Ballad of Jim and Seth. In 4 stanzas. There's 4 of us here. We each get a stanza. Stanza 1, Jim. That's me. Also, if you notice, I'm wearing orange and blue. Go Illini. The common denominator for myself and Seth Mendoza is wrestling. If either one of us never wrestled, we would not be here tonight. I went out for wrestling in 1959, my sophomore year at Thornton Fractional North High School. The football coach told me and another player that wrestling would be good for our reflexes and conditioning. After a week, I was hooked on it. My senior year, 1962, I was named Most Valuable Wrestler, having qualified for the state tournament. I didn't place, but I did my best. My sophomore year at the U of I tried to be a walk-on, and I did. I made the starting team, earning a tuition and book scholarship. My senior year at Illinois, I tore my knee on January 1st, 1966. This goes to show that you shouldn't party the evening before New Year's and try to make yourself presentable at 8 o'clock in the morning for the practice and not warming up. You live and learn. It ended my career. After my Army days, because I was drafted 3 months after my graduation from Illinois, I was one of 382,000 drafted in 1966 to go fight in Vietnam. I did not end up there due to my poor eyesight. So I spent a year at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where I did my basic training, and a year in Germany. It's quite unlike being in Vietnam. After I got home, I was anxious and wanting to do something. I became a referee for wrestling, for high school wrestling, and I did that for 33 years. I also coached the grade school, Burnham Grade School, where I lived in Burnham at the time, and they did very well. Now I am just a fan of high school and college wrestling. Stanza 2, Kelly, Seth's mother. I have been a substitute teacher at Carl Sandburg High School in Orland Park for about 13 years, usually subbing in PE, which I truly enjoy. I met Kelly Mendoza in between classes where I was teaching another class, and she was maybe next door, and you meet in the hallway because it's a 7-hour time period between periods. And in talking to her, I found out that she had a son, Seth, who wrestled at Mount Carmel High School. She never bragged about how good he was. I found out when she asked me to sub for her whenever Seth was in a major tournament, usually out in Pennsylvania. She had very well-behaved students, and I enjoyed her classes. She often tells me how much her class loved it when I subbed. If she only knew what we did. She also told me at the time that Seth made wooden flags. Kelly now manages the Sandburg St. Baldrick's Day haircutting event. St. Baldrick's is an international nonprofit that raises money for research in the field of childhood cancers. The organization has raised more than $356 million in 31 countries with 1,887 grants. This year, St. Baldrick lands on St. Patrick's Day, which is very unusual. Because on St. Patrick's Day at Sandburg, students and faculty who raised money or just contributed out of their own pockets that day will take a seat in the cafeteria during the third lunch periods and have their heads shaved by barbers and stylists who have volunteered their time. And by shaved, I don't mean cut, I mean shaved. I am amazed when I see girls who once had long hair, now completely bald, and smiling with the pride of helping kids who are bald because of radiation. When I first wrote this, I cried. Because picture that, kids, young kids being bald. Stanza 3, Mike Mendoza. Seth's father, Mike Mendoza, is one of Seth's coaches at Carl Sandburg, and he coached his last match at the state tournament. I was there. It was a good match. Mike was a staff sergeant in the Marines. He spent 3 tours in Iraq during his 10 years of active duty from 1997 to 2007. This was during Washington's global war on terrorism. He was in a Marine recon company. Now these recons, they're the ones who go door to door, looking around, looking up at windows. Any time doing that, they could be shot. They could be shot. It's the most dangerous job possible. Mike was awarded the Purple Heart and the Navy Cross. The Navy Cross is the closest medal to the Medal of Honor. The Navy Cross is not given lightly. There have been only about 6,300 awarded over the years. In contrast, there have been 100,000 to 150,000 Silver Stars awarded. Since 9/11, only 47 Navy Crosses have been awarded. I will now switch to a citation on Mike. Michael Mendoza's platoon was one of the most decorated platoons for heroism in a single action in the war on terrorism. On this date, his platoon leader, Captain Brent Morrow, earned the Navy Cross posthumously. I stress that word. And team leader Sergeant Willie Copeland also received the Navy Cross. Michael Mendoza and 4 of his comrades were awarded Silver Stars for this combat operation. It is a record unmatched by any Marine Corps company, much less by any platoon in the global war on terrorism. In 2017, Mendoza's Silver Star was upgraded to the Navy Cross, and I will read the citation of the Navy Cross. Global War on Terrorism, Service, United States Marine Corps, Rank, Sergeant, Battalion, 1st Reconnaissance Battalion, Division, 1st Marine Division. Action date, April 7, 2004. The President of the United States of America takes pleasure in presenting the Navy Cross to Sergeant Michael A. Mendoza, United States Marine Corps, for extraordinary heroism while serving as Assistant Reconnaissance Team Leader, Company B, 1st Reconnaissance Battalion, 1st Marine Division, Marine Expeditionary Force in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. On 7 April 2004, Sergeant Mendoza's platoon was patrolling in Al Anbar province when ambushed by an enemy force in well-fortified positions. After a rocket-propelled grenade disabled his vehicle, Sergeant Mendoza organized and led 5 Marines in a charge across an open field, up a 10-foot berm, and across a deep and muddy canal to firing positions with hand grenade range for the enemy. The vigor of this first assault eliminated 10 insurgents and forced many others to retreat. Observing an injured Marines still under fire in the enemy zone, Sergeant Mendoza continued the assault with complete disregard for his own personal safety. When his commander was wounded by an enemy combatant concealed in a nearby trench line, Sergeant Mendoza decisively engaged and neutralized the threat. Then he knelt in the open by his commander's side, while another Marine rendered aid and pulled the officer to a shallow ditch. Despite the rocket and machine gun fire directed at him, Sergeant Mendoza held his position and continued to provide covering power until an armored vehicle arrived to evacuate the wounded officer. By his decisive actions, bold initiative, and complete dedication to duty, Sergeant Mendoza reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and of the United States Naval Service. And he is also a friend of Alan Lynch, who you may remember from last August when we had that great weekend. And I want to stop now and maybe if you would join me in an applause for what he did. I'm not done with Mike. Since leaving active duty, Mike has now been busy with a nonprofit organization named Semper Fi. Members assist wounded, critically ill, and injured service members. And I just read this morning, the guy is a Superman. Mike is in the Guinness Book of World Records for most half Ironmans in a year while raising money for wounded veterans with the Semper Fi Fund. It's amazing. All right. Moving on. Stanza 4, Seth. Seth is the creator of the wooden flag, which I'm about to donate to the village of Monee. He is a student athlete at Mount Carmel High School. He is 18 and graduates this year. He will wrestle at the University of Missouri. I recently saw a high school wrestling list from Flow Wrestling, I believe it was, an internet wrestling site. It ranked wrestlers from all 50 states, and they came down with a limited number that they'll discuss. Seth ranked second in the U.S. at 138 pounds, second. The guy that beat him, I'm sure it was Blaze. Was it Blaze? It was Blaze. I think he's going to Penn State. They are number one year after year after year after year in the NCAA tournaments. So Seth is going to Missouri, and maybe he'll meet Blaze later. Seth is a generational wrestler, meaning that of all the wrestlers in Illinois for years, he is the best. I mean, generational. Think of a generation, 20 years or so, 25 each year. He is that. And this is why I say this. Seth was the Illinois state champion every year in his weight class. And every year he went up a weight class. He is a 4-time state champ. He is the 16th state champ for 4 in IHSA history. And it goes back to the 30s, the IHSA. So it's almost 100 years, and in that 100 years, only 16 wrestlers were state champions for all their 4 years. Now, all the 4 years, each one of those wrestlers wrestled 4 matches. Because you start at 16, then you cut it to 8, then you do 4, 2, and then the finals. That's 4 matches. He did that. So he had 16 matches total. 4 times as state champ, 4 times he wrestled 4 times. Yeah. 16 times. Of those 16 matches, he either pinned or had a major decision, which is 15 points. At 15 points, it's stopped, and it's considered like a pin. So of the 16, he had 15 that either pinned or beat on points, and he regrets, I was just talking, that one, because he is, what do you call yourself? What kind of wrestler are you? Generator, and you feel it. All right. So, I went down to Champaign 3 weeks ago and saw him win his title. And because he's a generational thing, and I spent hours researching 4-time champions of the 15 remaining. And they had nothing like what he did in the state tournaments. So, in my opinion, Seth is the GOAT of Illinois wrestling. Now I'll turn here. Does anybody here know what I mean by GOAT? Greatest of all time. And it's like saying, who's the greatest linebacker in the history of the NFL? I will say Butkus, G-O-A-T. But that's just me. All right, I am done. I thank you for listening. And now I'll ask Seth to uncover it. And show it to the residents. This is suitable for, going on a wall. It cannot go outside. And for the board. Okay, I'll take it. And that ends me here. Thank you. I'll take it and put it.
There you go.
Thank you. Where do you want it?
In the middle.
Well, it's yours. You made it. You can hold it. Once you have the strip.
Do you want, Therese, do you want the parents in it?
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
They want both of you in it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks. I've got 2 cameras, so. One more. Got it.
Now, in answer to your question, he does paint things. He has a picture. I don't know for how long. It's going on Zoom. And
Probably 5 minutes. Really?
if you want to consider St. Baldrick and Semper Fi both nonprofit, and I'm not, they don't know what I'm doing. Because they have websites, so you can go on there and find out, yeah, the ins and outs of maybe contributing. Thank you.
Say it again. I didn't sign up for it. I've done it in the past couple times.
It's for my school.
That's for sure.
Two different schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you to Seth. Thank you for that wonderful donation by Mr. and Mrs. Lenaher. It's certainly very beautiful. We're going to move on to the administrator's report, and it's going to be tough to top that, but good luck.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First item is Monee Manhattan Road and Egyptian Trail lighting improvements. This is a pay request number 1. And if the folks have noticed, we have new antique lighting along M&M and Egyptian Trail, and it looks awesome. So the village has recently received pay request number 1 from Utility Dynamics Corporation for work completed on the reference project. Village staff and Robinson Engineering have reviewed the attached invoice and found the work to be in substantial compliance with the contract. We therefore recommend that Utility Dynamics Corporation is entitled to payment in the amount of $311,543.10. Board action request is a motion to approve payment to Utility Dynamic Corporation in the amount of $311,543.10.
Make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Lots of positive feedback from that project. Got folks reaching out from Green Garden all the way down. What's going on in Monee? You guys are doing awesome. So just to know that it's appreciated and people are actually noticing what we're doing, so they like it. But that's all I got.
Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Rakes,
Yes.
Trustee Wilson,
Yes.
Trustee Udress,
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Henson.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Thank you, Board. The next item is a professional service agreement for the 2025 Monee Roadway Maintenance Program. The village has recently received the attached professional engineering service agreement proposal from Robinson Engineering for the 2025 roadway maintenance program for several roadways within the village scheduled for maintenance this year, and there is a map that's attached. This would bring the village very near to completing its multi-year plan, which began in 2015, for those of you that remember, of resurfacing and or reconstructing every residential roadway within the village. Robinson's preliminary construction cost opinion for the 2025 roadway maintenance is approximately $1,670,000.00. The service and cost in this proposal would include engineering design, and the cost is 5% of the awarded contract amount. Construction engineering services, and that's 6% of the final construction cost, and any reimbursable expenses as noted in the attached billing rates. The board action request is a motion to approve the mayor to sign the professional engineering service agreement for the 2025 roadway maintenance program as submitted by Robinson Engineering. The engineering fees would include 5% of the awarded contract amount and 6% of the final construction cost, and any reimbursable expenses as noted in the attached billing rate schedule.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson,
Yes.
Trustee Udress.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Trustee Henson.
Yes.
Trustee Horn.
Yes.
Trustee Rakes.
Yes.
Thank you, board. End of my report.
Thank you. Moving on to the officials' reports. Trustee Horn?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to address a couple things tonight. First of all, regarding the lighting project, Utility Dynamics will be on site tomorrow to install the final 3 poles on the Egyptian Trail lighting project. This completes construction on the project. Next, DPW and Robinson Engineering will inspect the finished product and compile a punch list of any items that need to be corrected. So those should be on. They're wired tomorrow. All the lights should be up and running tomorrow. So that's really good news. I do want to address, there was a little confusion about our water bills this month, and I'd like to address that. And recently, the village, as you know, voted to implement an ordinance that would decrease the water bills for residents using 4,000 gallons or less of water. This was done to soften the 44% increase of sewer rates that were approved by the ICC, Illinois Commerce Commission. Due to this increase, the village had to adjust this pass-through cost to our residents. In our attempt to get this done, an unforeseen software mishap has occurred. Village staff is aware of it and working diligently to rectify the error and credit all accounts affected. The correct amounts should be available through the online bill pay system this week. Any amount overpaid, if you used the erroneous bill to pay from, will be credited on the current bill. The village has been determined to provide village residents relief by previously removing admin fees, credit card processing fees, as well as providing payment plans to those in need. We'll continue to evaluate and utilize all resources available to provide assistance to help our residents with increasing costs. We apologize for any frustration that you may have endured. And so another thing to point out is if you compare our rates to surrounding villages, our rates are the lowest by far. For instance, ours is $35.57. Is that a per 1,000 rate? I'm not sure what that rate is, what that number is. $35.57 for water, compared to the next one in line is Frankfurt's $42, all the way up to, get this, $167 for water in Park Forest. So the other thing, lowest rates. The other thing we are doing is working on developing and constructing a wastewater treatment plant. Why do we do that? Because then we can control our own rates and not be beholden to Aqua. And we have a contract with them that I think ends in about 7 years. So, and that's kind of the plan. As we are done with that contract, we'll go online with our own wastewater treatment plant. And again, just trying to control our costs better for the village. In other news, there's this is really good news because April 7th will be the first branch pickup of the year. Yay. So that means spring is a-coming. And that'll be, after that, it'll be the first and third Monday of every month. And then lastly, let me talk to you a little bit about staff development at our DPW. They're doing some safety briefings focusing on the dangers of confined space entry and Monee's procedures for conducting such work. Today and tomorrow, 9 members of DPW staff are attending general standards and mosquito training. And later this month, staff will be with other departments taking part in CPR AED training with the Monee Fire Protection District. So thank you for your time tonight, and that's all I have.
Great, thank you. Moving on to Parks and Recreation, Trustee Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things tonight, and today we had our St. Patrick's Day celebration for our senior luncheons. They served a whole corned beef dinner, and entertainment was Irish music, which I know is hard to come by in the month of March around here. So this Friday is your last chance to sign up for the Co-ed Youth Basketball League. This is new, so if anybody has kids interested in signing up for basketball, this is a new program for Monee, and we're really excited about this one. The cost is only $65 per child. The season runs from April 1 to May 29 for ages 7 to 11. Again, thank you to Maria Abney for having the teen finance seminars. I kind of talked about it at the last meeting about having a reality store, and this truly is something like that. Maria does a wonderful job, and I think our youth needs to know kind of what's happening in the real world, about financing and about saving and about what happens to your money and how to pay those bills. And that's what these seminar series has done. There's one session left, and Investing Basics on Monday, March 17th from 5 to 6 p.m. And this is free to attend, and this is for teens from grades 9 to 12. And we'll celebrate March's Women's History Month. Join us at Monee Elementary School this Saturday from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for a Women's Empowerment Expo featuring women in Monee. This event is open and encouraged for anyone to attend for free. So again, we have cooking classes, art classes, yoga, adult fitness, taekwondo for kids and adults, dance classes, spring garage sales, a job fair coming up, a health and wellness event also first here, and also so much more is available to join. So please visit the Parks and Recreation page for more information on these programs that might be of interest to you and sign up. So many events are planned. At my last count, I think there was 120 events planned by Parks and Rec for this year. 120. If you have a program idea, a talent you'd like to share, actually I had a suggestion from someone today, a program idea or a talent you would like to share or would like to volunteer, please contact Parks and Recreation, 708-534-8302. We'd love to hear your ideas. End of report.
Great, thank you so much. Moving on to finance, Trustee Rakes.
I have no report tonight.
Okay. And then moving on to economic development, Trustee Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Under Unite Monee, I'd like to first talk about small businesses, informational video. So this is an idea that came up from our very own mayor, Mayor Bogues, and also our village administrator, Bautista, a few months ago. So this spotlight feature is called Why Monee? So shortly, we're going to actually find out what it's all about. At this time, I would call up Economic Development Director Bill Barnes, who is going to give us a little sample of what to expect.
I should mention that the mayor and Trustee Horn reached out to their Hollywood agencies, so when this goes viral, they're all set for their spotlight. Okay, so this is about 6 minutes long, the first one, and then it gets a little bit shorter. This is like our first. So our marketing coordinator, Rachel Beckman, put this together and edited it. So here we go. Possibly.
finally got to the point would allow us to watch the people while we run and get something to drink or whatever. So that was, so we took part of his old school recipe, added our mix to it, and it's been great. So tell me, why we looked at 10 different areas, but out here is just something different. Now, the past 7 years, to see the growth in me, I think, a lot of changes it's very exciting about the direction that the community is going. Great. No, this is a great family feel to it. Very nice. You did say you do catering, so if you want to give a shout out with a phone number so people can get in touch with you. Okay, the phone number is 708-716-5441. Okay. And again, Terrell Sink the volunteer at 25655 Governor's Highway in Monee. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much for sharing your story.
That's that one. Kudos to the mayor and Rachel for putting this together and editing it. And hey, John, how do I get out of this? Escape?
I'm teasing.
Oh. Okay. What? It says media. Oh, quit? Just quit? Okay. All right. And then the next one, this is from our man on the street, Trustee Horn.
Hi there, this is Trustee Doug Horn, and I'm at Ryan's Place Restaurant here on Route 50, and I'm with the owner, Ruben, and so thanks for taking this time.
Thank you guys for being here.
Absolutely, and tell us how long you've been associated with Ryan's Place.
Since I was 21. I'm 56 right now, so it's more than that.
About 35 years, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, so tell us about what you serve here. What's your menu like here?
We are on the same menu when Brian was the owner. We try to keep the tradition up. Brian, has been here for a long time, so I keep most of the recipes from Brian and most of the food. We do here, we have breakfast, lunch, dinner, we have specials. We got kid specials, we got weekend special. I love money. I love the people and money. My life is money. Everything I have is because I have dreams, and those dreams come true here in Monee.
Great. Well, we love having you in Monee, and we love having your restaurant, Brian's Place, here in Monee. And great food, great fun here, and great place to meet people. So thank you very much for staying here in Monee. This is Doug Horn, trustee of the Village of Monee, at Brian's Place Restaurant with the owner, Ruben.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
So we all know what Trustee Horn is, his next career is going to be now. Now, a special thank you to Rachel Beckman for putting that together. So that segment is Why Monee. We'd also ask that if anyone's interested in representing their businesses or would like us to feature them, to reach out to either myself or Economic Development Director Bill Barnes, and he'll take care of it, and we'll get that scheduled. Second, sculpture update. So on February 27th, Bill, Rachel, and Christy took a trip to Bradley University campus to see the progress of our statue, Maria Bailey statue. Bill has a few photos that and comments that he would like to also add.
So some vital statistics from earlier. You saw the miniature sculpture, which she then adds. So Marie stands at 6 feet tall. She weighs about 500 pounds. She's living in Bradley University right now, and soon she'll be, well, in probably, we're looking at August, along with the park, she'll be sitting at the corner of Court and Governor's Highway. So, again, 600 pounds of clay, and to give you an idea of how much clay, each packet of clay that the sculptor gets, Sydney Ryan, is 2 pounds in a packet. So that's a lot of tearing open clay. The good thing is she'll get to reuse it, and from where it is now, then she'll make casts from this out of plastic, and then out of bronze, and then she goes through the whole process. So she's really excited. Obviously, she's very talented, but this is her first major sculpture that she's doing. So kudos to her. I mean, as you'll see, there's a lot of detail here. A little story about the hands. So the hands are actually her counterparts. They do a wax mold of her actual hands. So luckily it was to scale. It's 6 feet, so everything is at 100%. And Christy obviously was a very big help in administrating Batista as well in the history. They would wear broadcloth, not leather, that type of thing. So that's why you see all the detail in the fabric and that type of thing. But it's, I think, pretty amazing. And then she'll also have at her feet a basket of various vegetables like squash, corn, that type of thing that was significant to the area because, they had to eat. And then Sydney is on the left, and that would be me on the right, and Christy in the middle. And again, she'll stand on a platform about 3 feet tall, with the flagstone all around her to tie in with the rest of our signage, with native plants around her at the park, and then of course she'll be lit up at night as well. Questions? No?
So just the one is when she goes into a plastic mold and into the bronze, then does she have to cure in bronze before she can be moved?
Yeah, and then that I don't know. I know she takes basically a blowtorch to it to get the bronzing effect. And then she has to come back and polish it. She'll be in, I think she said 11 different sections because they have to section everything off because otherwise it would be too heavy. And they take it apart, and then she goes back through and welds every piece together.
When she gets here, she welds it back together?
Right. So it's kind of like if like the bean in Chicago or the cloud, that was all welded together in pieces and then polished and buffed and everything. Yeah, it was welded from the inside. Yep. So, yeah, she's doing a great job, and obviously we'll have a big ceremony, that type of thing. But yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. Sure. Tractor Supply. So within the next few weeks, you will see the beginning of what the long-anticipated project taking place. One of the first things that has to be done is the removal of several trees and shrub brush around the area where the large landscape retention pond will be located at the corner of Governor's Highway, Monee, Manhattan. And then this is where Tractor Supply Store and Garden Center will be built. So not to worry, the trees and brush will be landscaped and replaced. So the main focal point of the downtown projected center, it's going to be well attended to as far as landscaping and the beautification detail. So with this major retailer at the east end of Monee Manhattan Road and Starbucks and Dollar Tree located to the west, the properties the village has purchased over the past year will begin to fill in with restaurants, retail, and commercial developments. To set more things in motion, our economic development director Bill Barnes will be attending seminar in Las Vegas in May to make more connections with national retailers at the ICSC, which is the International Council of Shopping Centers, which he has previously attended and also made good contacts. Networking is key, especially when you're trying to bring in commercial retail business, and having a good line of communication and someone to facilitate that is paramount. So I thank you, Bill, for your hard work and your labor. As always, When available, shop Monee. End of report, Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on to building services, trustee Henson.
Thank you, Mayor. February's totals for contractors, new or renewed, is 40. Permits issued was 29. Total inspections, 204. Final certificate of occupancies issued was 8, but it was a slow month. End of report.
Thank you very much. And moving on to public safety, trustee Udris.
Thank you, Mayor. For our Emergency Management Agency, on February 27th, EMA was called over to Derby Lane here in town to assist with a missing person. EMA set up their command trailer. They provided ATV search operations with both ATVs, and EMA was assisted by Crete EMA along with their 2 search and rescue coordinators, and Will County EMA with a thermal camera drone. Monee EMA responded with 9 personnel and 7 units for 5 hours. And due to the outstanding work by our Monee Police Department, the subject was traced and located in Chicago. So it was a good ending there. On March 8th, our EMA assisted Manhattan EMA with their Irish Fest parade. This was a large-scale event working with multiple EMA agencies, fire departments, police departments, and also the FBI, since the Irish consulate was in attendance there. Details like this provide valuable training for our EMA group and the experience that they can get and bring back to our agencies here to help with some of the details that we work on, things like our Fall Fest in town. And it's also a chance we help them, they help us in return when we have large events. And finally, on March 9th, EMA also assisted the Illinois State Police with a vehicle crash on I-57 at Pauling Road. EMA assisted with 3 units and 6 personnel. For our police department, for the 12th consecutive year, Monee Police Department took on the annual Polar Plunge at Lake Manteno. This was led by our close friend, Olympian Nick Lorenz. Monee police officers, family, and friends participated in this highly successful Special Olympics fundraising event. 17 plungers took the dip in the 34-degree lake water to represent the village and raised an all-time high of almost $10,000. It's awesome. Fantastic. Monee Police was the top fundraiser at Lake Manteno region. Among first responders, trailing only Kirby School District 140 of Tinley Park. The top fundraisers included our Mayor Bogues and Sheepdog's very own Steve Schabacher, hope I got his name right. We're already game planning for our plunge for 2026. We had 4 first-time plungers this year and looking for some more new plungers for next year. There's a rumor out there that if Monee Police raises $10,000 next year, a certain unnamed trustee, John Henson,
Your rumor figures are wrong.
has promised to jump in wearing a pink tutu. So this will be something for the village to come out, donate some money.
Let me set the record straight. I'm going to plunge next year. If I can raise individually $5,000, which is half of what they've raised this year, I will take the plunge in a pink tutu.
So get your cameras ready.
So you have it on record now.
We already had it on
And as always, as you see our police officers driving around town, please wave, smile, say hi to them. They're out there keeping us safe, and they're doing a phenomenal job, and we need to let them know that. So, end of report.
Great, thank you so much. Moving on to the attorney's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Got a few items. The first item is the ordinance approving the purchase of 5637 Gale. This ordinance has already been approved, so there's no action necessary. We should close on that parcel probably in May. The same with number 2. This ordinance has already been approved. This is for 5626 Monee, Manhattan. Same owner, and I believe there's a tenant in there, and it looks as though we'll try to close by
middle to the end of May. So no action necessary on either one. Number 3, as Trustee Wilson indicated, the trees would be coming down along Governor's Highway. Premax is moving on this parcel fairly quickly. They want to go in, and this is before the closing too, so we should be aware of that. They want to go in and cut down those trees because they need that in order to have better access and to get some other infrastructure in. They'll be doing the work. The access agreement has been presented to the board. I will say this, I got a call from Neil Bates yesterday. He wants a few minor changes in here, but they want to move on this, so I would recommend we approve it, subject to certain modifications to be approved by Ruben. But they are asking us to proceed fairly quickly.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, board?
So
Now-
I just have a question, if the modifications though, before it's actually signed and everything, will we get a chance to kind of hear what those modifications are?
It's difficult because they want to get in like next week. They've already told myself and I believe Jeff and Bill and Ruben that timing right now, if they don't have everything done within the next month, this project will probably go next year. And there's a lot of work to be done with some easement issues, a couple other issues, but in fact, he sent an email before I left saying, once again, how critical timing is. But we can, myself, Ruben, the mayor, go over this and indicate what the changes are, but unless we want to call a special meeting to approve it. This is done quite a bit where it's subject to certain modifications. Your bond ordinances, other ordinances, sometimes there's got to be certain modification. Nothing of substantial change, but it could be a minor issue.
So maybe just discussion or, we don't need to make approval, or just a communication on it, at the next meeting? If there was any modifications?
Well,
I'm sorry.
the only thing, Trustee Gonzalez, is that the mayor's going to have to sign this because we're giving them the authority to go onto our property. And we want insurance, a hold harmless provision. We'd like to have someone from Public Works there watching them because there are, I forgot how many trees on that site, but there's quite a few.
I do have one question. Is there anything state-related to 50 that would have to be approved from them?
Can you repeat that, sir?
From Route 50?
Oh.
From IDOT?
No.
I'm good with it.
I mean, we were in this conversation for about an hour with them the other day, and this is one of the major issues that got to be resolved fairly quickly, because again, we have to get some infrastructure in that site. They emphasize that timing is critical, and if we don't get it done by the spring, more likely than not, it won't be done until next year.
Okay, and then the other part of that, doing this, then they're gonna go full force to get it done. Meaning they're gonna get in there and not stop.
I'm glad you meant that, Trustee Rikus. I asked them for a copy of the redevelopment agreement signed and a copy of the contract. We have the contract, but they're hesitating to sign the redevelopment agreement until like a day before closing, which I don't like, because he's asking about the cost-sharing arrangement for some of the expenses. I said, sir, in my opinion, that could be handled in the redevelopment agreement. In this situation, Primax is the developer, and they have a tenant there. So they're extremely particular. And that's a concern, because if we do cut those trees down, or bushes, and for whatever reason it doesn't close,
right?
You know, I mean, to me, and I think Bill will indicate the same hope, I think it'll get done. But until the deed transfers, you just don't know what's going to happen. There's been an issue with some pipeline out there, some sanitary, and Bill and Jeff been working on it quite extensively, but that closing, they want to be done in end of April.
And from what you're getting, they're gonna go full force after the redevelopment agreement.
Well, I would like the redevelopment agreement signed tomorrow by them,
Okay.
rather than the day before closing, because then they have the leverage.
Right.
And that's, we don't like this, we don't like that, then what happens? So I'm gonna emphasize to the gentleman, Mr. Bates, let's get the agreement signed. The contract's signed, but the agreement says who's gonna do what for infrastructure. And remember that we're gonna remove the old bank there, and we did some infrastructure work. But I like to have everything signed, sealed, and delivered next week, not the day before closing. It doesn't work like that. That's too much, especially on this deal, because it's not a closing on a house. It's a closing on a vacant lot that's owned by a village, and there's gonna be a redevelopment agreement. So it's not an easy transaction.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Hunter?
Yes.
Trustee Warren?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Uda?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. And the last item, I believe we're gonna table this to the next board meeting once we have the software up and going. So if we can have a motion to table until the next board meeting.
Make that motion, sir.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
How, maybe we could get an update on what's going on with the software for people? I mean, if we're holding up, moving forward with this, where are we at with the problem?
With respect to the software, I'm not sure.
I know they're working on it.
All right, Trustee Udris, we are going back and forth with the software company to do the things that we needed to do. This was our first time adjusting rates through this software, so we've hit some bumps, but we are on a daily conversation with the software company, and we anticipate this week, early next week, we should have some kind of fix to it. So
Appreciate
we're
that.
on it. Yep.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Yep. Roll call, please.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Reyes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Uda?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Moving on to unfinished business. Yep.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item, if the board recalls, we received a request from Matt Leader with respect to an additional TIF payment. Myself, Ruben, and I believe Bill Barnes were present, and we discussed his situation, and he understands our point of view. He is trying to get some other invoices that we need to bring before the board. So hopefully he'll have those invoices next week. He did explain his financial situation, and we believe something can be worked out that will benefit the village along with himself. Any questions on that, or? The second issue was the town center bid award. If the board recalls, we received one bid. This is for the property, obviously in the town center, 2 acres in size. I would, if the board deems appropriate, recommend a letter going to them, because we did receive a proposed contract, and the contract is very one-sided, and they want a lot of TIF assistance, and I believe there'd be a lot of resistance to the request. So it'd probably be appropriate to send them a letter indicating we're rejecting the terms of the contract, and the bid at this point is null and void.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second. Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rico?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item, once again, we did have a meeting with Mrs. Patel with respect to her request for TIF assistance for the Quality Inn and the Super 8. Her request is somewhat extensive, and we did have a meeting with her asking her to really reduce the request because the land price versus what she's asking for is substantial. And so she understands the situation. We believe some of the work is justified with respect to the exterior, the parking lot, a couple other things that will make the appearance look better. But the file's about this thick for expenses. So, and she bought it, I believe, 2 years ago. And her occupancy right now is, she's working on it. So hopefully we'll have an update at the next board meeting.
So Larry, out of what she was asking for, what qualified?
I would say, I mean, she had everything in there, but I would say ballpark it.
A percentage.
70%, 80%. But the one thing we should keep in mind on this deal, usually when we do the TIF, there's increment coming in from the real estate because it's vacant land. This been developed.
Right.
So there is really no increment coming in. So what would have to, very little, I should say, what we would have to do is use some other TIF money in that account. I'm not sure you want to do that.
The reason why I say that is what I asked that day, only because of what we've been going through and thinking on. I'm all about good business. I think you understand where I'm going.
Yes, sir. And myself, Ruben, and Bill, we stress that to her. We want to help, but there are limitations.
And her response to it was accepting?
She understood.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure accepting, but she understood.
Oh, okay.
Again, hopefully the next board meeting we'll have some further update. And the last one was with Vortman Steel. Was a very good meeting, good, solid company. And they did everything the right way with the budget, what they're going to spend, what they need, and it was, we wish every meeting went with that, like that. They're very, very good people. So we are hopeful. We're working on the redevelopment agreement with them. Obviously, it would come to the board for review. They're looking to, I think they ordered some of the material already, so they're on a fast track. But good, solid, we'll have a good, solid deal with them. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Larry. Any new business, anyone? Okay. Open to the public, non-agenda items?
Hi, my name's Dave Short, and I'm on staff with Second Place Church and a director of Provision Lab, which is a nonprofit, charitable nonprofit in the area. And I've come tonight basically to give you an update on the Main Street project, as well as introduce our new pantry director, Darnice Cooper, as well. So I don't think I'd be into the pink tutu though. I just I can't go there. Before I get into that though, I want to acknowledge that my understanding of the coffee shop's progress is somewhat limited. Here's what I know. We focused most of our efforts on opening the market and now are focusing all our efforts on opening Historia Coffee Shop. Rough inspections have passed and we're drywalling, painting, and proceeding with mechanical, electrical, and plumbing thereafter. We're closer than ever. However, we do not yet have an opening date set. I'm sure that'd be a question that I don't have the ability to answer at this point. So Provision Market, which is phase 3 of the Main Street project, has been operating since Friday, February 7th. We're open one day a week from 10 to 3 o'clock, and we're putting in families every 15 minutes, 7 families every 15 minutes from 10 to 3. And people can register online at provisionlab.org/market. And a new registration page is going up every Monday morning, so people can re-register. They can't just register for months out, but every week is different and new. And in our first month, we provided food to 901 individuals. This past Friday, March 7th, we served 95 households, representing 273 individuals. And since I really don't like PCs and I don't necessarily like the slides here, they're kind of like this small. I won't show them at this point, but I do have some testimonies. This young lady, very young mother, she said, "Good afternoon. I went to the pantry on Friday and I absolutely loved it. I have been to many pantries that gave us food we can't use, allergies, etc. So it was a relief to pick things we need and leave the things we don't." Opportunities for students. We're giving opportunities for students to come and volunteer. The high school and middle school are asking and requiring the students to volunteer. And one of the mothers says, "My daughter absolutely loves volunteering for this. She would be there as often as possible if it wasn't for school." LOL. Another gentleman who had he's recovering from a stroke. He says, "I'm not easily impressed, but I'm impressed." And another person, "I'm extremely grateful, working a part-time job, trying to pay rent and feed my family." And another person, "Fabulous outreach. Our community is blessed to have this dignified option." We now work with a variety of grocery stores as well. We work with Mariano's and Jewel, Osco, and Frankfurt. They provide us some donations. We also are working with the Dollar General here in Monee and Dollar General in University Park as well to provide things. Provision Lab has to pay for food. We work with the Northern Illinois Food Bank, so it comes out of our budget to do that. But we also are trying to find ways to subsidize what we're bringing in economically. We often are asked if we accept donations. Yes, we do. We gladly welcome a wide variety of items, including baby essentials, diapers, all kinds of baby formula, frozen refrigerated food, canned goods, soups. And while all goods are appreciated, anything's appreciated, we'll take anything. But we really do appreciate cartons of canned vegetables or the same kind of variety of spaghetti sauce or a bag of frozen chicken tenders versus these individual separate things that we'll provide for people. So anyhow, if you want to get in touch with us, you can contact us at admin@provisionlab.org. If you want to contact us in regard volunteering, we accept and receive volunteers at provisionlab.org/volunteer. And we have amazing volunteers. And with that, I'd like to introduce our new director of the market, Darnice Cooper, for her just to share a few words herself.
Hello, everyone. As Dave said, my name is Darnice Cooper. I'm also a resident of Monee that I'm very proud of. I count it a privilege and an honor to be able to be the director and facilitate the pantry. The pantry is something that is needed. We can't say who and who not, but we can open the doors for all that will come. I just want to take this moment to thank Second Place Church, Village of Monee, for all that you all have done to bring this vision to fruition. And I personally count it an honor to be able to serve my community, this community, Monee. Thank you.
I'm telling you, man, Darnice is a worker, and she is, amazing. So anyhow, I want to share one last thing with you, and I do want to show the picture here for this, if I can get it up. Can I plus? What do I do here?
There you go. You got it.
Okay. So, in closing, I want to take a moment to honor, if I can get through this. I would like to take a moment to honor Andy Franklin, who led our administrator justice. I don't know if I'm going to get through this. I'll be okay. I'm going to be. Administer Justice Program at Southland Gospel Justice Center, our low-cost legal aid program that we provide through Provision Lab. Andy was the launcher of this and spearheaded it and was just making an impact in so many people's lives. And Andy tragically passed away on March 7th due to unexpected postpartum complications, leaving behind her loving husband Luke and 5 young children pictured here. She was a light in this world, compassionate, determined, and deeply faithful. She dedicated her life to serving others, offering hope and compassion to those in need. Her impact on this community is immeasurable, and while we grieve her passing, we also celebrate the love and legacy that she leaves behind. Andy's life was one of service, and we are forever grateful for the way she gave of herself so fully. She will be sorely missed. Yeah. I want to thank you, the village, for allowing us the privilege of serving this community. And what an honor it is for me to be able to facilitate this ministry and this organization and provide for the needs of so many people that are in great, great need. I had an 83-year-old woman that came into the pantry. She said that her husband is suffering from severe dementia. It was her first time to the Provision Market, and she came through it, and she looked at us and she says, "I'm overwhelmed. I can't believe all of this food." And she says, "Can I give you a hug?" So she hugged all of us. So on behalf of Andy and the Franklin family and myself and Darnice and Kelly, who formerly helped us so greatly with the pantry, and Second Place Church, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
If I could follow up on what Dave was talking about, I happened to stop by the food pantry and the coffee shop this morning, and there were, I think 5 or 6 members of the parish or the church, 4 contractors, drywall is being put up. What they've done to keep the character, like we had the building at the corner with the great doors and that type of thing. I took pictures of it with the black and white hexagon tile and everything. It's like first class. So it was nice to see, because I know we're all getting impatient. At least I am, because I'm a coffee guy. So it's like, okay, when's it coming? But it looks great, and it's really going to, be like a spotlight for that corner. And the sign is up, and it's in the walls in the right place, Lance. So, but it looks really great. So kudos to everybody. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's a great service for the community. And it is a beautiful building. If you haven't been there, definitely stop in. It's definitely a very, very beautiful building. All right. If I can please have a motion to adjourn regular session to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, for executive session, item number 1, 5 ILCS 120/2C1, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee. Item number 2, 5 ILCS 120/2C5, the purchase or sale of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired or sold. The following pin numbers: 2114174020290000, 21142110017000, 2114174020320000, 2114174020300000, 2114174020330000, 2114174020130000. I'm beginning to think somebody doesn't like me. 2114174020140000, and 2114214003700000. Roll call, please, because you're the first and second.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn? 7:57.
I have a motion to reopen regular session, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
9:43.
Thank you. May I please have a motion to authorize the issuance of a bid in the amount of $325,000 for PIN number 2114214000370000 to be submitted tomorrow morning.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Henson?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Rakes?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udress?
Yes.